Hi there, and welcome to this webinar while retailers need a mobile phone activation audit by PRGX. The sale and activation of mobile phones through retailers will continue for the foreseeable future, and as a result of new connectivity technologies such as 5G, fixed wireless, and satellite internet, there will be new networks to partner with. Since the carriers are the system of record for determining if payment is due to the retailer, many large retailers often miss the opportunity to recover commissions owed to you for activating phones on wireless networks. This webinar will outline the trending usage of mobile phones and why now is an opportune moment for retailers to conduct an activation audit to deliver a short-term cash return while remediating process improvements for future contract negotiations. So thank you for taking about 30 minutes out of your day to join us. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items. Please let us know through the question box if you're having any issues with the audio or seeing the slides. You can also ask us questions throughout the webinar, and we'll do our best to answer these at the end of the webinar. And please also follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn to get alerts on more of our upcoming webinars. So today, to introduce our presenters, Jim Albrecht, VP of Audit Operations for PRGX, has over 20+ years of recovery audit industry experience, serving a broad range of clients in retail and other industries, with all experience in leading goods not for resale contract compliance programs for major retailers. He is passionate about reviewing new areas to increase the value of audits performed for clients, both in cash recoveries and lessons learned. Glenn Hall is the Audit Manager for Contract Compliance at PRGX. He has 20+ years retail experience in contract compliance recovery audit experience with a focus on mobile phone activation audits for 10 years. Glenn has performed these audits in various countries for large consumer electronics retailers, reviewing mobile phone activations on many key carriers and networks. So at this time, I'm going to hand over to Jim.
Very good. Thank you, Ashley. We'll start with a quick overview of what we will cover today. First, we will take a high-level look at the telecom industry. Second, we will show what the opportunity is for retailers and our recommendation for how to address them. And then Glenn will take over with the audit review process before we cover next steps and close with some Q&A. The smartphone market is massive, with 2018 market penetration of over 75% in the UK and over 80% in the US. While the growth rate has slowed over recent years, the number of expected additional smartphone users is still several million annually. As technology evolves and better equipment is developed, subscribers often upgrade their devices, and these types of transactions also earn commissions for retailers. Especially now, with the 5G becoming the standard, subscribers who wish to take advantage of 5G speeds and capabilities need to purchase new phones equipped with that new technology. The Internet of Things, or IoT, is another emerging technology to keep your eye on. 5G speeds and capabilities have enabled the Internet of Things to take off. So wearables and other portable consumer devices will be Internet capable, which is an opportunity for additional retailer commissions. Emerging technologies will no doubt result in new service providers. This means more consumer options and potentially new business partners. This added complexity means there will be more to negotiate with these service providers. The new type of connectivity technology, along with its different types of charges, could also result in new commissions due and payment errors associated with those new services. Typically, in recovery audit, we refer to levels of spend relative to recovery opportunities. The more spend there is, the more potential for recovery of errors associated with that spend. With activation audits, the opportunity involves the review of commissions due to retailers resulting from the activation transactions. Opportunities exist when retailers sell mobile phones, tablets, and smartwatches to consumers. Then when these devices are activated on the carrier networks, a payment or commission is due to the retailer for making the sale connecting the subscriber to the carrier. As you know, there are many variables involved with various devices and types of devices, numerous manufacturers, and of course many carriers to choose from with both prepaid and postpaid products. The combination of these variables results in errors that can occur throughout the sales process, which can mean loss of commissions that were rightfully earned. Leakage throughout these transactions occurs for many reasons. Errors are to be expected anytime there are multiple systems talking to each other in real time, executing complex transactions, which also involve manual intervention or overrides. However, there are two main reasons why there is an opportunity and why it is so important to consider an activation audit. First, contrary to what you might think, the transaction does not end at the point of sale. In fact, the commission is not considered earned until about 30 days after the device is activated. Subscribers must remain active on the carrier's network for a predetermined vesting period for the retailer to earn a commission. During the vesting period, many times subscribers change their minds about the purchase and call customer service to swap devices or make changes to their plans. During these calls, the customer service reps sometimes make a change that disconnects the link between the retailer and the subscriber. This can result in the retailer not being paid the commission they have rightfully earned. The second reason is the carriers themselves maintain what they consider the system of record. The information used to determine if a transaction has earned a commission is stored within the carrier's systems. Many times the information is keyed into customer service notes or other free-form comment fields, so the data is not normalized data like an invoice number, date, or amount, and it doesn't lend itself well to simple desktop audit routines to isolate payment exceptions and produce a claim for commission payment. Accessing the data in the carrier's live system is a requirement for an effective activation audit. So you can see this series of events can drive up errors as well as the value you can receive from an activation audit. In summary, the mobile phone industry is enormous and expected to maintain and grow subscribers in the coming years. In addition, with new connectivity options on the horizon, you may be negotiating contracts with new service providers in the near future. With the emerging Internet of Things technology becoming more and more available with 5G capabilities, more and more devices are being developed, and these will also need to be activated on carrier networks. So what does this mean for retailers? It means continued growth in activation commissions or revenue share opportunities with the wireless carriers. There is no better time than now to start or introduce your activation audit program to your carrier partners. We recommend you begin by reviewing and potentially modifying your contract language, beginning with implementing audit rights as needed, and we can help you with that. By performing these audits annually, you can more quickly and easily recover lost commissions, plug any gaps where leakage is found, set the standard for transparency and controls, and improve contract language in advance of future contract negotiations. And now I will turn it over to Glenn. Glenn Hall will provide an overview of the audit process so you know what to expect. Glenn pioneered the activation audit process 15 years ago. He's been part of over 30 activation audits, resulting in recoveries of over $50 million. Glenn has received numerous accolades for his work in this area. Glenn, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jim. The first thing we will want to do together is determine if there's an audit opportunity. To do this, you can expect us to ask you for annual receivables volumes by carrier, along with your contracts with each carrier. With this information, we'll determine if appropriate audit rights and receivable volume levels exist to perform a successful activation audit. During the contract review, we will determine the audit scope, the data needed for the audit, identify any additional contracts needed, and note any improvements that may be needed to existing audit rights language. If an opportunity exists, we will ask you to set up meetings for us with the Commission's reconciliation team and the merchants to qualify the opportunity and gain their full buy-in and support of the audit. When it is agreed to move forward with the activation audit, this is the typical review process you can expect to see. We will go through these steps in further detail in the following slides. Step one of the process is data acquisition and processing, followed by data analysis and the report of preliminary findings. Based on our preliminary findings, we will prepare for the on-site review, which will be conducted in step 3 along with the completion of the final audit report. The last step of the process is presenting the final report and settling the claim. Regarding the on-site audit in step 3, we do have a workaround option available while COVID-19 travel restrictions are in effect, and I'll talk more about this in a few minutes. Based on our review of the contracts and meetings with the reconciliations team and merchants, we will create and submit a data request. The type of data you can expect to be requested includes customer information, such as first name and last name, subscription information including subscriber ID, plan name, and plan description, and device specifications such as brand, model, mobile number, and any unique identifiers available such as IMEI, ESN, and SIM number. None of the information requested contains sensitive customer information. In your organization, the team in charge of reconciling commission payments typically has much of the data needed. They likely pull this data from the carrier's portal or receive it via SFTP. The same team should also have copies of the contracts with the carriers. The merchants will also have contracts of the carriers. Copies of the contracts, sorry. As a result of our work in step 2 of the review, you can expect 2 critical outcomes explained in our report of the preliminary findings. First is our independent third-party reconciliation of all transactions that occurred during the audit period. Second is a proposed detailed scope of work for reviewing a sample of transactions with the carrier to resolve any payment discrepancies found in the reconciliation. There are normally thousands of transactions that are either paid, not paid, underpaid, or paid but subsequently charged back to the retailer. Since it is not possible to research every transaction, a sample of transaction is tested, and the results are projected across the population to determine the final audit results. A report detailing preliminary findings will be presented to our sponsor, then to the reconciliations team and merchant with our sponsor present. Ideally, we would then present the report to the carrier as a unified group, including PRGX, our client sponsor, the reconciliations team, and the merchant. Once we work through and finalize the scope of work with the carrier, we move to the next phase of the review process, which is the on-site audit, which can be conducted remotely during the coronavirus epidemic. While not required by any means, we encourage clients to send a representative to the on-site audit because a great deal of learning takes place, and it's a chance to build new relationships and strengthen existing relationships with your carrier contacts. While travel restrictions are in place because of COVID-19, these audits can be conducted remotely via applications like Skype and Teams, which allow screen sharing while teleconferencing. Although mentioned earlier, it's worth a quick reminder why an on-site review is necessary and critical part of an activation audit. First, the carrier is the system of record for determining if a commission is payable to the retailer. Second, the data required to perform the audit is not normalized data that can be provided and used as part of our desktop audit process. Last, data must be searched in multiple systems with the carrier present to help determine what transpired over the course of the transaction, because the transaction does not end at the point of sale. The review process itself involves several two-person teams consisting of one representative from the carrier and one representative from the retailer, PRGX in this case. These teams review the categories of sample transactions to be reviewed, as agreed upon in the scope of work, until the sample transactions have been reviewed. As the teams finish testing their transactions for each category, they compare testing notes and results prior to moving on to the next category. This way they can deal with any discrepancies they find while it is still fresh in their minds. At the end of the on-site review, which is typically 4 to 4.5 days, a representative from the carrier and a representative from the retailer exchange results summaries and meet to review and resolve any discrepancies so both parties are in agreement with the testing results at the end of the on-site audit process. A final report will be issued following the on-site review. The report includes an executive summary of the findings, a detailed review by category and population value based on the sample results, observations and recommendations, a proposed settlement, and finally, next steps to close the audit. The final stage of the review process is delivering the final audit report and settling any resulting claim. As with the preliminary findings, you can expect us to present the final report to our audit sponsor first. Then, together with our sponsor, we can present the findings to the reconciliation team and merchant. The report may include business cases for categories of transactions that could not be agreed upon during the on-site review. We typically call these results inconclusive because we think they are payable, either partially or in full, and the carrier believes they are not payable. It is critical we present these business cases with the full backing of our sponsor, the reconciliations team, and the merchant, so the carrier sees us as presenting a unified position. This is why we discuss and collaboratively agree our approach before presenting to the carrier. We will work to resolve any open issues with you and the carrier until we collaboratively agree upon a final settlement of the on-site review results. To summarize, when you work with us, this is generally what the activation audit process looks like for you. The first thing you will need to do is identify and provide contracts for review, as well as receivables volumes. And if an opportunity exists, we will ask you to arrange preliminary discussions with the receivables team and merchants. During those meetings, you will help us to qualify the opportunity and establish internal buy-in. Next, you will facilitate the data request so we can begin our work. Once we are finished with our preliminary review, we will ask you to review our preliminary findings and agree a scope of work with the carrier. You then have the option of joining us for the on-site review at the carrier's office, which can be conducted remotely while the need to exists. After the on-site review, we will submit the final audit report for you to review and co-present with us to the carrier. Last, we will ask for your support as needed in negotiating the final settlement. I hope this gives you a good understanding of what an activation audit might look like for you. At this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Ashley to walk us through some Q&A.
Great, thank you very much. So it looks like we've had a few really good questions submitted today. So the first is, how much involvement do you need from us as the client or retailer?
That's a good one for me. I'll take that one, Jim. Client involvement is generally minimal, requiring about 5 to 10 hours from our audit sponsor per audit. Most of the involvement needed is in the beginning and the end of the process. We may have questions as we get acclimated to like contracts and data during startup. You and the contract owner may be called upon for assistance if we come to an impasse with a carrier and escalation is required. We'll want you and the contract owner, which is typically the merchant, involved at the time of settlement. In the event there is an on-site audit, many clients want to be present and send someone in a supervisory role from the reconciliations team to participate in the on-site testing because it's such a valuable learning experience. So I guess, as you can see, your time involved can be minimal or more involved depending on the desire and availability of your organization and you to participate in the on-site review.
Great, thank you. So we have the second question. So this is, are you looking to review all carriers as part of the audit?
I think I can take that one, Glenn. So the way it works is that for each audit is a carrier, so it's one audit per carrier. And the contract between PRGX and the retailer will agree to which carriers will be reviewed during the contract period. So we'll come to agreement with each to approach each carrier, and that will be the determined scope of work that we will follow for that audit. So again, one audit per carrier.
Great, thank you. And the third question, so is there a minimal receivables amount you're looking for to qualify these audits as opportunities?
You want me to take this one, Jim?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, yes, the ideal minimum receivables volume for postpaid carriers is $100 million per carrier. Receivables volumes for prepaid carriers can be less. It's best for us to discuss the mix of carriers and the subscription types being sold so we can determine if there's a viable opportunity. So don't discount this opportunity if you have postpaid carriers with less than 100 million in spend. There could still be an opportunity.
Thanks, Glenn. So our next question, how much is a typical recovery?
I can take that one, Glenn. Claims related to postpaid subscriptions, sometimes known as contract plans, are typically over $1 million. But really, I think probably the best way to, as a general guide, and I think it was on a prior slide, is a guideline of postpaid subscriptions in the 0.5 to 1% of receivables. So that gives you sort of an idea. It's a broader range, but it gives you sort of an idea of what you could expect.
Thank you. And our final question today, do you audit SIM card transactions?
Yes. Sorry, Jim, I just jumped right in there.
Go ahead.
Yes, we do. We audit SIM transactions and prepaid or no contract phone plans that involve the monthly top-up payments. Recoveries aren't quite as predictable as with postpaid plans, but they can be significant and definitely worth the audit effort.
Great, thank you both.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, I'd like to extend a big thank you for everyone for joining us on our webinar today, and a massive thank you to Glenn and Jim for taking this on. The recording will be added to our PRGX website along with our other on-demand webinars, and we also have many more webinars coming over the next few months. They cover topics which include recovery audit, root cause analysis, self-funding contract audit programs, source-to-pay acceleration, and spend analytics. And if you'd like to know more about activation audits or you want to speak with a PRGX expert, please visit our website, prgx.com, or email marketing@prgx.com. So thank you all again for joining us today.